He's a hustler, unbreakable, a people's person, and a future billionaire. This is the Hustler's Corner with Sbu Soliope, well known to you and I as DJ Sbu.
Hey, my chief, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, sir?
No, I'm fine, man. I think my reception upstairs was not great, but I think downstairs was not great. But let me try again. I'm gonna go downstairs quickly.
It's fine.
Just to make sure. No, it's fine. I think it's fine. I think I'm fine.
I think Sitting Bar will host you on one of these days to show us your membership.
No. Don't do that. Yes. How are you, Sbuda?
I'm quite excited that you're recording already. I just want to say hello to my YouTube family. Welcome to the Hustlers Corner. The Hustlers Corner is a podcast dedicated to bring you guys hustlers from all across the world, everywhere, anywhere, young, old, female, male, guys from different industries. People come and share their story, their ups and downs, and things they've had to do to become the people that they are today. So I'd like for you to subscribe to the page, the Hustlers Corner SA. That's the name of the podcast. Obviously hosted by myself, DJ Sbu, straight out of Johannesburg in South Africa. Go check out all of our old interviews, very inspirational stuff. I think we've done the videos so far, bro. About 20. We've done about 20 videos, and trust me, out of all those 20 videos, you will be inspired. Young people doing great things, young millionaires doing great things. The podcast is called The Hustlers Corner SA. Go and subscribe. We're going to be starting a book club very soon. We're going to be working with the Lebo Book SA, which is a non-profit organization that promotes reading. It's in South Africa, founded by the brains called the Lebo Gunguluza. I co-founded it with him a couple of years ago, and I would like to go do some work and promote reading around this year. I'm excited that we're all in lockdown. People are doing different things all over the world. Out here in Johannesburg, South Africa, we're doing our Hustlers Conversations. And right now, I've got Hustler Extraordinaire. He's from the Dragon's Den. He's an entrepreneur. He's a leader. He's been an entrepreneurship at all of his life. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Mr. Lebo Gunguluza on my Instagram Live. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, so how are you?
I'm blessed, and I think let's shoot right straight into it. For people who don't know who Mr. Lebo Gunguluza is, who is Mr. Lebo Gunguluza? You know, I've interviewed you many times, but I always be every year. There's always a new generation of people coming in, you know, so I never take that for granted. So I want you to tell your story as if I've never interviewed you before.
Well, Sbuda, as you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm probably one of the hardest working entrepreneurs in the country because
I agree.
Yeah, I try very hard to pull other entrepreneurs with us. It's never easy. It's a very difficult battle to do. But now I was born in Port Elizabeth. I was born in a township called New Brighton. And unfortunately, when I was still young, my father passed away when I was only 6 years old. I was raised only by my mother, who was a nurse. Yeah, we struggled very, very hard in the first 20 years of my life. And obviously, after that struggle, I never wanted to go back to that life again. So I set myself 3 goals in matric, because before I reached matric, I repeated classes about 4 times. So by the time I went to a private school, when I was in grade 9, I was the oldest in class by far. I was 4 years older than everyone else in the class. So it exactly. Except exceed now, and I was the oldest guy, and all these white kids were spoiled. And like your self-esteem became very, very low. And for me, it was it was a very tough time for me. But I fought very hard, and I entered a competition where I had to introduce multi-choice TSTV into the world, into the country. And out of all those young people who knew English very, very well, I came number 1. So I discovered my talent there of communication, and then I used that talent now to build my life, which is why today I'm a communicator. So at the age of 20, when I finished my matric, I made a simple I set up simple goals. The first goal was that I don't care what happens, but I don't like my last 20 years. Whatever happens at 25, I want to become a millionaire. At 35, I must become a multi-millionaire. At 45, I must become a billionaire. So I started working I finished my degree and I started working at SABC. And then I left SABC because I was running late for my first goal. And then I launched an entertainment company, which is where I met you and many, many other guys, where I started managing DJ Fresh, Fat Joe, and all the other guys. I introduced Mendoza into the scene. I introduced Boom Shaka into the scene. And I really did some great stuff before my 25 years old. But my first goal, I reached at 27, and it was not easy. It was tough because there were no BE, there were no tenders, and I really worked very hard to change my life because I needed to change the way my life has been for the past 25 years.
And then let me come in there. It's an amazing story, and I like it when you share it. Don't worry, don't be in a hurry. Take your time. We've got the entire hour until 8 o'clock. I love the fact that young hustlers are tuned in now. Everyone is watching. Shout out to everyone just plugged in. We're speaking to Mr. Lebo Gunguluza, entrepreneur extraordinaire, done different businesses, empowered a lot of young entrepreneurs. Also been a part of the Dragons Den. One of the Dragons has been investing in other young people's businesses, sharing with us his story. Now, when he's saying to you, introduce some of the best names in South Africa right now, he's not necessarily trying to claim people's hard work, etc., but he's just trying to say, back in those days when there was no social media, when the internet was still new, at a young age, started an events company. Now, let's zoom into that events company. Some of the things that you learned from running an events company, because I know a lot of the easiest thing or the quickest thing to do, or many entrepreneurs in the country do event promotions. So let's talk about some of the things you did then and some of the experiences you've had then before the internet, without using social media, how you marketed your business, and how you succeeded, and how you ended up having to work with some of the biggest stations in the country. Do not be afraid to name them.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's fine, Sbuda. So what I did is that, when I was 25, I was still working then at SABC, and I said, wow, I'm still working at SABC and I haven't met my goal, and I set myself certain goals. So I decided that, look, let me go for something bigger. I decided I wanted to learn broadcasting. So then what they did, I applied for a course on broadcasting in the US. But obviously, because I wanted to earn more money, I thought by working and being employed, I can earn money. And that was not the case, because when I came back, I still got employed and I still earned very little money at Head Boys Advertising. And I worked so hard, Sbuda, but I would wake up very early in the morning, finish 10 o'clock late at night, and I would still make the same money, but it didn't make sense to me. So I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to quit and try something new. And then I started opening my own establishment in, what do you call this area, in Ilovo. I became in fact, I was the first guy to launch a club in Sandton and Rosebank, because all clubs were happening in Hillbrow and Braamfontein. So I started a club called Insomnia, because I wanted to make quicker money and see the other side. But then, obviously, there was a guy, his name is Tish Mates. He was in radio. So because he was popular on radio, he killed my club, because people went, but my club was the most popular at that time. So I went on and opened 2-3 other clubs, but I then discovered the power of radio, because I also used to work for radio. And then I made a deal with a particular radio station called YFM at that time. And then I said to YFM, look, I can activate your radio station to the youth. Why don't I partner with you and I do a big event? And by that time, I was managing a couple of artists, like as I said, DJ Fresh and Fetcho, who were DJs on YFM. And then it was like, for me, an opportunity now to really push hard for my dream. I approached YFM and I said to him, look, I need you to give me a budget, but I don't need cash from you. I just need a lot of airtime, $1 million worth of airtime. They didn't agree on $1 million, so they gave me $500,000 worth of airtime. And I said, okay, I'm going to create the biggest Kwaito event, because that time Kwaito was the biggest thing. Just like now, Amapiano is the biggest thing. So I wanted to create the biggest Kwaito event. Then I invited some of the artists that I was managing, and then I also used some of the DJs that I was managing to host this event. And because of the airtime they gave me, the event became so powerful. I also invited your DJ Sbu to come through and play. And there were so many DJs that came through and played. And it was one of the biggest events called the Kwaito Storm. It happened at Newtown at the electric workshop. That's where I made my first million. And I think for that time, for me, it was a miracle, because obviously there was no tenders, there was nothing. I just used sheer grit to try and make something out of nothing. I traded the airtime that I had from radio for sound, for stage, for venue, for everything that, even for people to support me. I just used the airtime to trade against and barter. And then that's how I made my first million. And it was not easy, but it was war. But it was an attempt, and fortunately it succeeded.
And how old were you at the time?
That time I was 27, but it was 1997.
Now, 27 years old, you've been hustling from the Eastern Cape to Joburg. You just made it. A lot of us fall into that trap. I'm one of the people that fell into that trap. What happens with that? Because I think people that we look up to always say it's now time to flip it or invest it into other things so you can double that million. Because if you can make $1 million, you can make 10 million. You can make 10 million. $1 billion is possible. What happened with you? What did you do?
Yeah, Smuda, you see, the difficult thing sometimes about us is that when you see that money, all you are thinking about, what am I going to buy? What am I going to spend? You don't think investment. You don't think anything. You think, wow, I can finally buy so many things. Because, also we pay black tax, So one had to support some family members in PE who were struggling. And it was really interesting, because I used the money so fast that within a year, it was finished. I bought myself a Porsche. I bought myself a GTI. I had a GTI already, so I paid it off. And then, but within a year, the money was finished. It reminds me of that show called I Blew It. Because I really blew the money, because I had no skill on managing money. I was just too excited.
And before you continue with your story, with the knowledge that you have now, what would you have done, or what advice would you give a young person to do when they get their first 10,000 rands or their first 100,000 rands or their first million?
Yeah, well, Smuda, for me, I think it's very, very important to know that you have to apply your mind and let the money simmer and let you apply your mind, because there's a variety of ways you can invest money. I wish so much that I invested in property, because property doesn't run away, but not property, not my house for me to stay on, because that's not an investment. I'm talking about property where even if it was apartments, at that time apartments were going for like 200,000, 150,000. So I would have had so much property now if I had done that. But because, one was excited by fame. I was hanging around with a lot of celebrities. I wanted to be seen in a nice car. I lost track, but if I had sat down and really invested in property, at that time, the property that I invested would be a couple of millions now. But however, later in my life, I really invested in the hotel side of the business. And sometimes it's fine not to have money, not to have cash flow, but knowing that your money is sitting in property, knowing that your money is sitting in businesses that are thriving, it's okay. You don't have to have all the money to flash and then be in clubs to show that you are rich.
Thank you very much, and I love that advice, and that's how I live my life now. And also saying earlier that I was one of the people that fell into those traps. Spent by wearing big labels, expensive labels, trying to impress people, buying expensive cars, which was unnecessary, and spending a lot of money on liabilities. Where right now, as a 4-year-old, I look and I say, Mr. Lebo Gunguluza says, You don't have to have a lot of money in your bank account even right now. Like I don't even think I've got 10,000 rands in my bank account, but I think my money is sitting on things that I'm building and things that keep growing. Yeah. And I was just rating our radio station, Massive Metro, and talking about More Fire, and I'm like, wow. So the advice that you're giving is the one. It doesn't have to be only property. It can be anything that you know puts it an asset, right?
Yes, that's why when people hear that Mr. Gunguluza is worth 300 million or 400 million, it doesn't mean that I'm sitting with 400 million rands in the bank. It just means the investments that I've made are worth that much if I were to sell all of them and recoup money as much as I can. So obviously I've had a variety of investments so far, and especially the obvious COVID virus has hit us very hard. I mean, our hotels now have been hit very, very hard. The travel agents has been hit very hard. You know, there's a lot of businesses that have been hit that in hospitality that I run, that I own, and that I have shareholding on, that have been hit very hard. And for me, it's like now I'm trying to navigate myself into a lot of other ways which I can still sustain the businesses and be creative.
I love what you're saying. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hustlers Corner. Hustlers Corner is an entrepreneurs or hustlers podcast. Doesn't matter whether you're 10 years old, you're 20 years old, you're 30, you're 40, you're 70. As long as you're a hustler, doesn't matter the industry. The Hustlers Corner SA is a podcast you can find on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, follow our pages on Facebook as well as on Twitter. It is the Hustlers CA. Today we're talking about none other than entrepreneur extraordinaire. I've been talking to hustlers in South Africa. You have to be talking about Mr. Lebo Gunguluza. He's in hotels. He's in the Driving Then, the TV show where he invests. Obviously, that's human capital. It's just, becoming a venture capitalist and helping other young entrepreneurs out there. He also empowers a lot of young entrepreneurs. But for now, because of where we are in the lockdown and where the world is in 2020, I'd like for him to talk about the 4IR. And I do know that he was pursuing a digital bank even before anybody started talking about that language. And then from the digital bank side, we're going to talk about some of the entrepreneurs that he's empowered. I remember he had a 12 entrepreneurs program where he's founded like 12 young entrepreneurs. He's like, I remember when he came to my radio show, Metro FM, he's like, Sbu, I'm going to make all these 12 guys millionaires. You know, and I want to talk about this. Now, let's talk about the digital world.
Yes, that's actually my favorite topic now, because it's changing the world so much, Sbuda. I mean, if you think about the world that is going online now, who is the richest man in the world now, Sbuda?
It's Jeff Bezos, Amazon. And
all he has is just one website. We're not talking about something hectic here. We're just talking one e-commerce website. That's all the guy has. Everything happens through that one website. Now, I'm going to ask you, Alibaba also is one website. You understand? And the Chinese now, the government has taken it over, but it's one website. You understand? How do we buy our tickets to fly?
Online.
Exactly, we use one website, right? So
we go Fly SA or Mango, we go Kula, go Travel Starts, cheapflights.com. There's a lot of platforms, but it's not online.
That's how the future is going, Sbuda. And if your business is not online, you must be worried, because especially worse with this COVID, everyone now is going to shop online. You must remember that this lockdown and this COVID is not something that's going to last just 2 to 3 months. It's still going to go on. And a lot of people are going to feel that they would rather work at home rather than be exposed. Sometimes they will relax COVID, but people will still feel that they need to stay home to be safe. And that means that they're going to work from home. And guess what? When you work from home, you're going to want to buy everything from home because you don't want to leave your house. And the only best way to do this is and connect with you will be online. So you have to think about it. So Amazon has hit the highest rate of sales ever in its entire life over this lockdown. So it should tell you something.
I was saying the same thing, that Netflix has been running on and off over these years. And I believe wherever they are right now, Netflix is smiling.
It's smiling because there's so many subscriptions that have gone off the roof. So what I'm trying to say, Sbuda, is that, look, I know that we still believe in touching things and all of that. But now there's a new introduction in the world called dropshipping. And in the past few days, I've been trying to introduce it to South Africans. But I'm also trying to introduce it to Africans. You can still have an e-commerce store without owning any products, Buddha.
So you can be like what other people are on YouTube, or let me say on the internet, where they become affiliate marketers, where you're making profit of selling other people's products, right?
Yes, Buddha. You can't do that. That's one way of being active in the online space and in the digital space as an entrepreneur. But the best way to be active, Buddha, is by owning your own e-commerce store. That means that it's your own digital asset. Same as Amazon, Jeff Bezos, his own digital asset is Amazon.com. Alibaba is Alibaba.com. You need to have your own domain, your own thing where you start building your business.
Sorry to disturb. I just want to acknowledge him and everybody else that I don't see. What's up? Thank you very much for plugging in. Speaking to Lebo Gunguluza, entrepreneur extraordinaire from South Africa. He's talking about his current business digitally, online.
Yeah. So Smuda, what I did 2 years ago, last year, to test dropshipping. So dropshipping means that you don't own the product. The most important thing that you need to own is the market, Smuda. That's the most important thing, is to have access to a database. The only reason why people would buy Amazon for 1.3 trillion is because Amazon has got a database that it can access of 1 billion people. The reason why people would buy Uber for 1.2 or 3 billion or 15 billion or 20 billion is because Uber has got access to a database of 91 million people. So people are chasing for people who've got access to markets. So the most important thing is for you to own a niche store, whether you're selling watches, whether you're selling power banks, it doesn't matter. But sell something that you know you can own that market, and that market is continuously engaging with you. So for example, last year I launched Lux Empire. Now Lux Empire does not do the Durban July, does not do Cape Town Jazz, but I sell tickets for those organizations. So I don't own those properties, but I work with the producers of those properties. I sell the tickets. After I sell the tickets, I give them. So I'm a drop service business. That means that I own the market. So I've got a database of all the wealthy or people around South Africa who want to go out and enjoy luxury lifestyle. And then Lux Empire then communicates with them and they buy the various VIP packages. Last year, it did extremely well, but I was testing it. Now, after testing it, I knew that I didn't need to own anything, Smuda, the website, and I used social media to market it. But I'm just saying that so many other people don't have to own anything. All you need is just internet, a computer, and then you just choose a Chinese dropshipping company or an international dropshipping company like Amazon. Choose products, put them on your website and sell. Then when you sell there, what happens is that the clients pay you first, and then you pay the supplier. So that means you remain liquid. That means you have cash on hand and you have power. So the power that you then start possessing, you start possessing the power of database and you start possessing the power of liquidity. Cash. You hear, Miss Buddha? Cash is king. You start having cash on hand, and that's making you very powerful, because once you've got that database, it means that even when you have to sell the business, you are selling a business that's already got serious traffic. That's why companies can sell their businesses at millions and billions. It's not because of the traffic, but it's because of the database that they can access. And that's what makes tech companies so attractive and digital companies so attractive. And by the way, with e-commerce, you make your money in dollars because you have no boundaries. You can go global. You understand? You can sell anyone and everyone. You've got no time to close and time to open. You understand what I'm saying? So it means that you earn money in dollars. So whether the rand is getting weak or strong, it's not your business, because you're earning your money in dollars. And that's the future of where Africans should be. And that's why I'm pushing the Dropship Club.
If you were to tell a young person right now on how they can make money online, 3 ways a young person who's in their 20s right now, they can make money online. I know there's more. There's so many ideas they can come up with, but if you can give 3, I don't want to say ideas because they have to think up their own ideas, but if you have to say, how can, as a young person right now during this lockdown, how can they make money?
Yeah, you see, if our government can just make sure that data, is accessible. If Vodacom, MTN during this period can make sure that there's easy access to data. Data, as I see Cat Species is correctly saying, is the new oil. It's the new oil and database is the new gold. So data is the new oil and database is the new gold. Now, what needs to happen, Sbuda, is that we live in what you call now the knowledge economy. We're no longer in the infrastructure economy. Like there's billions of companies that are huge, Sbuda, but they're being nailed by Uber. They're being nailed by Amazon. Companies with infrastructure for days, but Amazon with one website is nailing them. You understand what I'm saying? So we live in a knowledge economy. So what young people should do, the cell phone that they are using, it's not a cell phone. It's not a cell phone. It's a supercomputer. You understand, Buddha? Because this supercomputer that they're holding has got, what do you need to be in an office, Buddha? You need a phone, right? So the smartphone that you have, that's why it's called a smartphone. The smartphone that you have is a supercomputer because firstly it's got a telephone line, it's a super office in fact, not even a supercomputer. The second thing that you need in any office, you need internet. So you can access internet through your phone, right, Buddha? The third thing that you need in your computer, in your office, you need to send out emails, right? You can send out emails on your phone, right? The fourth thing that you need in your computer, Buddha, you need to take pictures so that you can take pictures of the products that you're selling. You can do that immediately out of your camera, out of your phone, because it's got a high-res picture. And so you can take a picture, load it immediately, and sell. Remember those days, Buddha, to actually have a product, or to actually take a picture, you needed to go and clean that. You needed to have a camera, you needed to go wash it on a red room and have a picture. These days, it happens automatically from this one little gadget that we are holding. And then on top of that, the last one, this same gadget that you're holding, this supercomputer that you're holding, is a marketing machine. How many influencers have been created out of this little thing that you're holding? So it's a super marketing machine. So you've got 5 things that you're holding on your hand. Instead, what we're doing as Africans, we do very vanity stuff. Taking pictures, selfies, showing off to girls, showing off to boys. And yet, it's a very powerful business tool that you're holding on hand. You understand, Buddha? So let's start now about the businesses that you can do out of this little powerful tool where you don't even need a computer, Buddha. The first business that you can do, you can run what you call social media influencing. Okay, we know that young people have done it, but there's different ways to do it. For example, you can try out different products through your phone and start engaging with brands and say, I'm gonna review your product and talk about your product and then review it on YouTube or whatever, and those companies can pay you money. Okay, but you have to try and build your followership. Okay, in that way, then you are starting to be a marketing channel. So you become a funnel. So you become a medium. So the more obviously people that follow you, the more they will see what you are doing, and you become a channel. You become your own television channel. That's number 1. Number 2, Sbuda, is to have your own online store. It's extremely important that we start engaging dropshipping. Dropshipping means that you can create an online store without a lot of resources. And all you do, you take a picture through your camera of your products that you're going to resell. To do a dropshipping, there's 3 ways to do it. It's very easy. You approach an existing shop owner and you say, look, I see that you don't have an online store, but I can resell your stuff online for you. And then all you have to do when as a shop owner, just go deliver whatever I've sold. And then what you do, if the guy charges you 10 rands, you charge 30 rands. You receive the money, And then after you receive the money, you pay him his 10 rands, you keep having 20 rands.
Don't overcharge people. He's just making an example.
But yeah, because it's up. You will work out the pricing with the person.
I'm just basically saying don't outprice yourself up the market.
Don't outprice yourself. Yeah. So, but you can also do it with international companies, Buddha. There's a lot of dropshipping companies, dropshipping suppliers that are selling products at very, very low price. And when you times it by 3, you are still competitive. Okay, Buddha? Yeah. That means that if anyone buys your product on your online store, even if you are sitting in South Africa, your online store is accessible anywhere in the world. You could sell a product that's made in China that's charging you $10, and you could sell it for $30 to one of the 4. We call it the big 4 continents. That is the big 4 continents is Canada. Countries is Canada, is US, it's UK, and it's Australia. Okay, those people are obsessed with buying online. So if you've got innovative products that you source from China or wherever, and you put them online, and you've got a dropshipping deal with a manufacturer in China, those products, if they're sold all over the world, Buddha, you are earning your money in dollars, and you are paying quarter of a price. You understand? And you are making that money in dollars. The manufacturer sends the product directly to the customer, whether the customer is in China, whether the customer is in the UK. Do you know why that is possible today, Buddha? Because we've got the most solid logistics infrastructure in the world. We can move products in 3 to 4 days in the world, unlike in the past. So we need to take advantage of that. But what is most important, if we can drop ship stuff from Africa to the world, that is the bonus. Where even if you don't own the products, but you know they're made in Africa, but you are selling to the market in the US, and the products are moving all the way to the US, and using free platforms like social media to market it. You understand? So that's the second part, Buddha. Yeah. The third part is called affiliate marketing, which is what you are talking about. Affiliate marketing is where you use your social media platform, or you use any other channel, whether it's a database of people that you've got, and then when you're talking about that product, you are creating a link that links for people to sell that product. So you don't own the product, you're not keeping the product. The product is still sitting with the owner, but the more clicks they get from people that come from you, they pay you commission. So
when we're middleman,
a middleman. And Sbuda, the nice thing about this is that you can do all of this through your phone. That means that this supercomputer that me and you now are holding, it's an extremely powerful tool to engage with the world. I mean, if you've got 3 million followers, Sbuda, it means that you're a major force, because you are more powerful than a magazine that has been in existence for 20 years. Because a magazine will have 100,000, yeah?
Yeah. Sorry, I want you to continue, but I just want to say, and I want you guys to look at yourselves in the mirror. For me, if you've got 100,000 followers and you don't have 100,000 rands in your bank account, or you don't own anything that is worth 100,000 rands, I'm very disappointed in you. And here's the big home to you, and my homework to you is, if you've got 10,000 followers, you must always make sure at least you've got 10,000 rands in the bank account minimum, or you've got something that is worth 10,000 rands. That goes to even people that have got 1 million followers. I'll be very disappointed to see somebody with 1 million followers and they don't have 1 million rands in their bank account and they don't own anything that is worth 1 million.
Exactly.
So that's my homework to you. Go make that money. Go use those followers. Go use digital platforms, especially social media.
Sbuda, that's why last year I launched Social Media Week in Durban, because it's the biggest social media conference. So I bought the rights to host it in Southern Africa, because I wanted young people to attend and I wanted digital experts to also be there, so they can all meet each other and converse with each other and build relations with each other, have brand managers meet with influencers, so that they can meet with each other. But most importantly, I wanted young people to learn how to monetize social media. And for me, that's critical. That's why I acquired the property called Social Media Week. But Sbuda, even beyond that, I think it's important that as Africans, we must understand that we are competing now with the world. We're no longer competing with each other as South Africans. So whatever we do, we must know that we are representing Africa. So if you've got 2 million followers, you must know how to use that very effectively to advance many, many causes that are affecting Africa. Does it make sense, Buddha?
Definitely makes sense.
You've got more power than a publication that's been in existing for 20, 30 years. So that means you've got media power. Now, that's why I say, Buddha, it's very, very important that we understand that this smartphone that we're holding is not just a phone. It's a powerful tool for you to make money. And that's what I wanted to talk about when it comes to digital. But there are other things that I'm doing within the digital space. For example, we have just introduced, I'm going to just mention 2-3 things that we are busy doing. Okay, Buddha. We are introducing another payments platform in South Africa where we are competing with PayFast. I don't know, most of you guys know PayFast, right? So we are bringing another platform.
Yoko, there's a couple of them, right?
Payments technology. So I'm into Fintech now. So I'm bringing Flutterwave. For Flutterwave is a bit easier to use than PayFast, okay? So
it actually connects you with companies that are selling or trading all over the world, which means
you can receive money
in any currency, right?
That's it, Buddha. You can invoice in any currency, unlike PayFast, where you only can invoice locally. So I'm introducing Flutterwave, where you can now invoice any company in the world and get paid by any company in the world in a split second. So that to me is very, very important so that Africans can trade with each other and Africans can trade with the world. That's the first thing that I'm doing, Smuda. The second thing that I'm doing, I'm introducing the Dropship Club. So if you go to Instagram and you go to Dropshipping Africa, that's my team of entrepreneurs. So I've organized a group of digital entrepreneurs for us to create as many e-commerce stores as possible. Okay, so we formed what you call a dropship club, okay, .co.za, so that as many entrepreneurs as possible can help as many other entrepreneurs to go online, because it's urgent now. You know, it's urgent that we go online, otherwise we're going to lose. Okay, Spura. So that's the second thing that I introduced. And then I also introduced another platform where people can create their own online stores, which is called Wheezy Africa. Okay, Spura. So it's like a Shopify, basically. So I'm competing with Shopify. So it's called Wheezy Africa. So people can go in there, create their own online stores, but we've got a team of entrepreneurs that can assist you that I've organized. So that's the second thing that I've introduced, Buddha. The third part that I've introduced, Buddha, is a digital advertising platform which uses artificial intelligence, which means that you just plug your e-commerce store to it and it works out all your products that you've got. Wheezy Africa, I see someone who spelled it incorrectly there. Let me spell it. It's WEASY Africa. So W
in the beginning.
So yeah, it's Easy Africa. It's like web made easy for Africa. So it's Wheezy Africa. So
okay.
Web made easy for Africa. So it's like Easy Africa, but with a W at the beginning. Okay?
So that's www.wheezyafrica.com.
That's it, .com. So .com. Okay. I try to stick to .coms, but because that helps you to trade. Now, someone else is saying Wheezy. There's no Z. It's S. It's easy, like
easy.
Smoothie Bar got it right. Yeah,
EasyAfrica.com.
Yeah, WheezyAfrica.com. So Noctula got it right. .com, okay? So there you can create your own online store, you can practice, but the most important things, Buddha, we're not in the physical business now, we're in the knowledge economy. So what it means, knowledge economy, that means the more you sit down and feed your mind with all what is possible online, and you teach yourself social marketing, you teach yourself all these skills that are digital. That means that you are putting yourself into the digital economy. You understand? And that's where you're going to thrive, because you're going to learn so much. That's why then we started the Dropship Club, so that we can teach as many people as possible, as long as you've got your cell phone, you've got a bit of internet, and you've got a small laptop, you can start participating in this economy. So for me, Sbuda, I think the most important thing is to say, let's get as many young people to understand what made Amazon billionaires, what made Alibaba billionaires, so that we can create the new Amazons of Africa, the new Alibabas of Africa. We need that. We kind of take a lot running the show, basically.
Give me 5 local brands that are owned by black people or black companies.
In South Africa, obviously,
yeah, South Africa, local.
Obviously more fire. I think. I think that's a proud one. That's a proud one, Sbuda.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you on that. But it's just there's other companies that own these brands, Sbuda. But we don't know them because they've not been vocal. But I'm very proud of Batu because they also so I'm very proud of them, Sbuda.
You already know Batu.
That's it, yeah. And I was Skinny Socks. I was very proud of what they were trying to do.
Skinny Socks. There we go.
Sbuda, yeah. So I was very proud of them. So we should be drop shipping these products. We should be having a lot of Dankisani. We should be having a lot of e-commerce stores. So we should cause a revolution. We should have, just like Chinese have got a lot of e-commerce stores and they're selling things everywhere. We should also have a lot of e-commerce stores and we should be pumping our own products online. The most challenging thing, Sbuda, for you would be to make sure that those products are available so that if there's a demand of 2 million of them at one go, you are able to make sure that more fire is distributed all over the world because so-and-so has got an online store and the demand is very, very high. So you understand, as much as selling on the street is good because it empowers those who don't have access to the internet, but Sbuda, don't only lobby those guys. Lobby guys who've got online stores to sell your products also. Let's create other new take-a-lots. Let's create other, but when you go to an online store, it's very important that you choose a niche. If you're gonna sell watches only. If you're gonna sell, because that's how then you position yourself as the best in the world by selling. For example, there's this company, Sbuda. All they do, they just sell watches. They're called WMWH. Okay, they do drop shipping. They don't own a single watch. They get all their watches from Alibaba. Okay, Sbuda. So they have 1 million people every day visiting their site. They were just sold for 280 million. We're talking about people here who don't own a single product. What they own is the market. And I've been preaching this over and over again that you don't have to own the product, but if you've got the means to own the product, definitely do. But most Africans and South Africans don't have the capital or the backing to own the product. So what's your next best option, Sbuda, is to own the market and then use technology. I'll make a good example around that. Okay.
All right, continue, make the example. Sorry, I'll come in, go ahead.
Best example around that, Sbuda, is Uber. No, they don't own any taxis, but they are the richest taxi company in the world. Airbnb, they don't own any hotels, but they're the richest hotel company in the world. So I'm just trying to say, the most important thing is that the fourth industrial revolution, Sbuda, is based on 3 things. Okay, it's based on mobile, which is what you are holding. Okay, because the market now is accessible through your phone. All markets in the world now. That's why Uber can access 91 million people. Does it make sense, Buddha? Because in South Africa, in Africa alone, we've got 1.1 billion people. We've got 556 million users of smartphones, Buddha. We've got 330 million who've got access to a lot of data in Africa. Does it make sense? So can you imagine how much access to the market you have as an African? You understand? There's 5.1 billion people in the world. There's 3.2 billion people who are using cell phones in the world. You understand, Sbuda? That is why a company like Uber can easily be sold for 2.3 billion, so for 15 billion. Do you understand, Buddha? So what I'm trying to say to you is that as African, we must acknowledge that the power lies in mobile. And that's what the first part of the fourth industrial revolution is. The second part of the fourth industrial revolution, Buddha, is called the cloud.
Sorry, I forgot to promote this brand. Let me promote this brand as well. Sorry, it's one of my youngsters. Love remains, guys. Get these sneakers. Follow them on social media.
Let's put them online. And sometimes online, when you drop ship, you can sell one product. It does not have to be your product. As long as that guy can make sure that he delivers the product to whoever it needs to go to. Okay? So
you're talking about, why am I not here? The library. You were telling me about something else. Sorry, you're saying there's a fourth one?
So the second part, Buddha, of the fourth industrial revolution.
The second part, yeah.
Yeah, the second part is that we are going to what you call cloud storage and cloud computing. That is why companies such as CD manufacturers who are keeping the information on physical devices are all closing down, because now most content is stored, and that's why you find that most young people are buying these products directly from YouTube or Netflix. So Netflix is keeping all the movies on the cloud. So that means you can access a movie, watch it directly from the cloud. That's why stores such as video stores closed down, because video stores closed down because they used to keep the content on devices. That's why CD companies and have all closed down, because everything is now sitting in the cloud. So young people can now access the same content directly on their phones without having to go buy physical storage. That's the second thing that's changing the world, Buddha, and that's part of the fourth industrial revolution. The third part of the fourth industrial revolution, Buddha, is what you call AI, artificial intelligence, which means it's algorithms. Now, the world has developed algorithms, which means that with algorithms, it means that you can now predict the movement of people, predict activities of people. That's why when you are online, you can see that they are able to communicate exactly what you want to hear, because they are using what you call artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is predictable intelligence. So it means that they are going to replace all the jobs that are predictable, that are mundane, with bots, which means robots. Okay, that means that they're gonna change and move all the people who are doing the easy jobs that are repetitive, and they're gonna get a robot to do that, because a robot does not fall asleep. A robot does not get sick. A robot does not miss their mother. A robot does not go on leave. The robot doesn't have a punctured tire. That's it. Doesn't have a punctured tire. So a robot works 24/7. That's why you find that the banks now are starting to use robotics and chatbots. That's why you can be able to get questions answered anytime, because they're using robotics, they're using artificial intelligence, and that's exactly what is going to really put a lot of people and make them unemployed. So now we need to change the skilling of people around that and make sure that people are learning new skills that can service this new revolution. So COVID is introducing, yeah?
Just to warn you, Mr. Gunguluza, it's going to cut us off in 5 minutes. It only gives you an hour. Let's go on and give the last advice to all the entrepreneurs who want to celebrate Entrepreneurial Extraordinary Dragon, invest on young businesses, and he's just giving you guys tips on how you can maximize on the digital world.
Yeah, just to give you a scenario, Buddha, it's been very tough for me in the last 4 years. The reason being is that I was transforming my entire group into a digital empire. And it's not easy, trust me, because you have to start engaging new people, new clientele. It's been very rough. But one thing I know, Buddha, for sure, is that there's only one path and one path in the world. It's digital. Okay? So no matter what you are doing now, try migrate whatever business you are doing to digital. Try to create an app. Try to create something that lives beyond borders, and start becoming and stage yourself as a global entrepreneur. It's never an easy process, but it's been very, very rough and very tough. But look, Buddha, we are forging with the most and the best technologies in the world within my group.
Let me let you guys know as well, we've got the brand new look of our website at Mofaya. That is mofaya.co.za. That's MOFAYA.
That's good, Buddha.
MOFAYA.co.za. We've got a brand new look which went live this afternoon at 12 o'clock. So go check out the Mofaya brand new website and let me know what you guys think. Mr. Gunguluza, you've been an amazing entrepreneur over the years, and I love how you've always been willing to share knowledge to the younger guys. I love what you're doing right now. And
yes.
All of it to the digital space, and that is quite incredible. If a young person right now,
yes.
Okay. Maybe let me put it this way. Let me let you finish up what you were saying, and I'm going to ask you let me say two last questions. Sure.
Yes, Buddha.
No, I'm saying you'll finish. I think I disturbed you.
Okay, so my last lines, Buddha, is very, very simple. All I'm saying is that look, invest in the digital future. There's no other way in really running this life. So with regards to COVID-19, and I think for me, my piece of advice is that use this time. Go online if you've got any form of internet. Learn as much as possible about participating in this new revolution. It's called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. It's going to affect so many people. Now, the whole world is now working online with COVID because they're all locked down. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that because the world is transforming. You know, when they say a caterpillar goes through hell before it becomes a butterfly, that's exactly what we're becoming now in the world. We think it's the worst time, but it's actually turning us into a butterfly. But we don't know. But we can only hope that it will be a beautiful butterfly. It won't only benefit certain countries only. I know that the war between China and the US is rife. This could be the Third World War, but it could be a war through biochemical. Who knows? But in that space of being in that war, don't be left behind. Participate in what the future is giving you and participate in and sustain yourself. It's very tough. My businesses have been under a lot of pressures. The hotels are all not working. They're all closed down. The Lux Empires have been under a lot of pressure because there's no events taking place. There's no Devon July. There's all of these things. Sun Arena is closed. We used to do a lot of events there. So there's a lot of businesses that are on standby. And the only place that one can turn to now is digital.
Mr. Lebo Gunguluza, thank you so much for chatting to me. I would like for us to sit down and record a proper interview, because what I love about these interviews is that they exist online forever. To the YouTube family, like the video, share, subscribe to the Hustlers Corner SA podcast. Go check out all of our old interviews. We've got about 20 interviews on the Hustlers Corner podcast. You will definitely love it. Mr. Lebo Gunguluza is still going to sit down with me. We're going to do a full 1 hour, 2 hours interview. That's going to be proper on video. That'll be the part 2. And I just want to thank you tonight. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, sir.
It's a pleasure, Sbu. I think let's run this and let's do the world a good deed and let's transform ourselves and become a digital economy.
Thank you for watching. Thank young people out there into the entrepreneurial world in South Africa. God bless.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Sbu. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, as we are closing it up, let me say bye-bye first to my YouTube family. Guys on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Tell them about the podcast, The Hustlers Corner, with some amazing interviews, especially from young people, young millionaires, young doctors, young business people, entrepreneurs, etc. Go check out those interviews. Trust me, you will be inspired yourself. Because what we want to do, we don't monetize any of these platforms. We'll probably monetize them later, but for now, we just want to inspire as many of you as possible. Just like what Mr. Gunguluza has been doing over the years. Go subscribe on his pages. The last website, and I'm going to bother you quickly before you go, Mr. Gunguluza. I know only have one more, I think a few more seconds. The websites that you spoke about, things that you're launching digitally, what are they?
The first one is called dropshipclub.co.za. So dropshipclub.co.za. There's about 6-7 digital entrepreneurs there that can help you.
17%, continue.
Club.co.za. And then if they can visit Instagram.
He's a hustler, unbreakable, people's person, and a future billionaire. This is the Hustler's Corner with Sbu, well known to you and I as DJ Sbu.